Hi, my name is Maya, and I thought I had moved on from my messy breakup with Jake until I discovered something that completely changed everything. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. 3 months ago, Jake and I had the most dramatic breakup in the history of our school. He accused me of being too controlling, and I accused him of being a spineless coward who couldn't handle a real relationship. We said things that can never be taken back, and honestly, I was relieved when it was over. But then I saw them together at the mall last weekend, and my stomach dropped to the floor. Her name is Chloe, and she's everything I'm not. Where I'm organized and driven, she's carefree and spontaneous. Where I plan every detail of my life, she seems to just go with the flow. She has these gorgeous blonde curls that bounce when she walks, and she was wearing this vintage band tee that somehow looked effortlessly cool on her. Meanwhile, there I was in my perfectly coordinated outfit, feeling like a robot next to her natural charm. Jake looked happier than I'd ever seen him, and that hurt more than I want to admit. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying their laughter in my head, wondering what she had that I didn't. Was I really that terrible of a girlfriend? Had I been suffocating Jake without even realizing it? These questions tortured me for days until my best friend Emma came up with the craziest idea I'd ever heard. She suggested we find a way for me to experience life as Chloe, to understand what Jake saw in her that he never saw in me. At first, I thought Emma had completely lost her mind, but the more I thought about it, the more intrigued I became. The opportunity came sooner than expected when Emma discovered that Chloe was looking for someone to house sit for her family while they went on vacation for 2 weeks. Her parents owned this amazing vintage bookstore downtown, and they needed someone responsible to keep an eye on both the store and their apartment above it. Emma, being the mastermind she is, convinced me to apply for the job without revealing who I really was. I created a fake social media profile, changed my entire look, and somehow managed to convince Chloe's parents that I was the perfect candidate. Walking into Chloe's world was like stepping into an alternate universe. Her room was chaos in the most beautiful way possible. Art supplies scattered across every surface, half-finished paintings leaning against the walls, and books stacked in towers that defied gravity. Her closet was a treasure trove of thrifted finds and vintage pieces that told stories I could only imagine. Everything about her space screamed creativity and freedom, two things I realized I had been desperately lacking in my own life. The first few days were overwhelming. I had to learn how to run the bookstore, which meant talking to customers about books I'd never read and music I'd never heard. Of Chloe's regulars were this eclectic mix of artists, writers, and dreamers who spoke in metaphors and quoted poetry like it was casual conversation. I felt like an imposter trying to keep up with their intellectual discussions while secretly Googling everything they mentioned. But something strange started happening as the days went by. I began to understand why Jake was drawn to this world. There was something magical about the way Chloe's friends embraced life with such passion and authenticity. They didn't stress about grades or college applications or 5-year plans. They lived in the moment, creating art for the sake of creation and forming deep connections over shared dreams and wild ideas. The real revelation came when Jake walked into the bookstore on day 5. He didn't recognize me at first with my new haircut and completely different style. But when our eyes met, I saw a flicker of confusion cross his face. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure everyone in the store could hear it. He approached the counter where I was standing, and for a moment, I thought my entire plan was about to crumble. Instead, he smiled and asked if I knew when Chloe would be back from her family trip. That's when I realized this experiment was about to get a lot more complicated than I ever imagined. Playing along with his question, I told Jake that Chloe wouldn't be back for another week, but I could help him with whatever he needed. He explained that he wanted to surprise her with tickets to this underground music festival happening next weekend, something completely spontaneous and romantic. As he described his plans, I felt this weird mix of jealousy and fascination. This was the same guy who used to complain when I wanted to plan our dates more than a day in advance. Over the next hour, Jake ended up staying in the bookstore, browsing through the poetry section and asking my opinion on different books. We had this incredible conversation about life and dreams that felt more genuine than any talk we'd ever had during our entire relationship. He He opened up about feeling suffocated in his past relationship, how his ex-girlfriend had tried to control every aspect of his life and never let him just be himself. The irony was crushing, but I couldn't say anything without blowing my cover. As he was leaving, Jake turned back and said something that completely shattered my heart. He told me I reminded him of someone he used to know, someone who had potential to be amazing, but was too caught up in perfection to actually live. Then he smiled and said Chloe was lucky to have a friend like me watching over her world. I spent the rest of that day crying in the back room, surrounded by books about finding yourself and letting go. That weekend, I decided to attend the art gallery opening that all of Chloe's friends had been talking about. I wore one of her flowing vintage dresses and tried to channel her effortless confidence as I walked through the crowded space. The artwork was bold and emotional, nothing like the safe, pretty paintings I usually admired. People were discussing the pieces with such passion, analyzing hidden meanings and sharing personal interpretations that made my analytical mind spin. Then I saw him across the room, and my breath caught in my throat. Jake was standing in front of a massive abstract painting, completely absorbed in studying every brushstroke. He looked different somehow, more relaxed and authentic than I'd ever seen him. When he noticed me, his face lit up with genuine excitement, and he rushed over to share his thoughts about the exhibition. We spent hours walking through the gallery together, and I found myself seeing art through his eyes for the first time. Standing in my own room 2 weeks later, surrounded by my color-coordinated closet and perfectly organized desk, I finally understood what I'd been missing all along. Swapping lives with Chloe didn't just show me why Jake fell for her, it showed me who I could become if I stopped being afraid of living messily and authentically. Sometimes the best way to find yourself is to step into someone else's shoes, even if it breaks your heart first.